Hello, this is Robert Gomez and thank you for watching this CXO Academy video. Today we'll be taking a look at how to create multi-source reports using our CXO designer. And so just like any other report, you'd select new report at the top. We'll name this multi-source test. As for the source system, every report needs a main source. So for this one we'll just stay with the EPM. And for the template, we're able to choose any template, but for this occasion, we'll do the multi-column to keep things relatively simple. Go ahead and hit OK, just like any other report. We'll start this off by adding content to this report. For the columns, I've created a time series, which is simple, and it's just based off of one source, which is fine. Just a time series of 12 months. It is shared list. Again, you can select the share list or a report list that you create. As for the rows, I've also created a shared list, but this is only a single source, so we're gonna turn this into multi-source in a second. It's called profit and loss simple, and it has a couple of KPIs. As you can see, the source system only says EPM. And now I've added a label that says EPM cube data, just so we can separate both cubes, and all these dimensions are only under the EPM cube. So at this time that we want to add another cube to this report, we will have to go to edit list, and as you see here, go to edit list. Okay, so for the list type, we'll have to make it a consolidated list, and that means it is taking data from two different sources. We can also create a matched list if the dimensions are not the same, but since the dimensions are the same in both cubes, we'll create a consolidated list. So we'll now add dimensions from not only the EPM cube, but we'll select also the account dimension from the CRM. And since the names are the same, that is why we were able to do a consolidated list. So we can hit save now. At this time, we still have no accounts under there because we haven't added an item. So I can go ahead and expand this a tiny bit. I'll go ahead and make a copy of this label item just so that we can split the CRM and keep them easier to see. I'll name this CRM cube data. So now we have two sets of accounts so that for the purpose of this video, we can see them both. So now you have a column for accounts under EPM and a column for account under CRM. So it's a matter of looking up the CRM account under the CRM column, and it'll pull from that cube. Since the dimensions are the same, and in this case, some of the map dimensions are not the same, so we'll have to go under the point of view and dimensions drop down and check out which of the dimensions were not the same. So you have the EPM and CRM options. Under the CRM, which is a new cube we've added, you see that some of the accounts say follow primary, which would follow the EPM accounts, but since it has not the same value, then it'll give you an error. So you'll just have to change from follow primary to a top level dimension, preferably in your new cube that you've added. So for version, we're gonna just add the top version 1, and now you'll see it has a problem with also the rate. So we'll switch that out and say follow just the top level category rate, and so on down the list. You sort of have to look for the dimensions that are not the same, like the ones with the measure. We'll select none, just as far as it's not following the primary, and therefore it can't find a member. So just give it its own members. In this example, these are not dimensions we are using anyways. So we'll just select all these top level accounts and keep on going down the list. For most cubes that you add, most dimensions will have the same name. In this case, a lot of them didn't, but most times it'll be a consolidate the list and have the same dimensions. So none for A07. Our custom dimension 8 also. We'll select none. And none. The reason being is in the CRM cube we did not have these dimensions. So if we say follow the primary, we can't follow because these dimensions do not exist in CRM. So we set it to none, and now we start seeing units for CRM cube data, which is at the bottom. It is now pulling from another cube. We'll go ahead and add a couple more accounts under there so we can get a good idea of what's available. Now you see, let's add, for example, the average unit price. And as you see, it shows as a 1, and that is because the unit price it can be displayed in thousands. So we can go ahead and change the format if we would like. For this case, we'll do the unchanged, which will display the value that is seen in the cube. So it's 534, for example, for October. And then add a couple more items. So at this point, you're starting to see data from both cubes. And we did a consolidated list because the account dimension is the same in the CRM cube as it is in the EPM cube. So it knows that it could use either or. We'll add returns. And again, with that, you can either change the formatting or leave it in thousands. Again, you can change the formatting for the whole report or per row or column. I'll go ahead and add also discounts. And as you see it there, now we're starting to finally get a full report or see enough data to see the difference. One last thing, maybe the return value. As you see there, we've split it off, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. You can make one row, follow the other for another cube, and then go back to the first cube. You do not necessarily have to split it out this way and label them like this, but I did that just so that you could see the difference between the two. I hope you've enjoyed.